guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with my September wrap up, and I have 15 books to share with you. I read 10 in the first half of the month and 15 in the second half of the month. If you want to see all the books I read in the first half, I will link my mid-month wrap up down below. I do these split up, so I'm not talking about 25 books in one video because that would be too long and I would forget a lot of things about the books I read at the beginning of the month because I read so much. But I have had a pretty good reading month. I did read 6 of these are novellas that I read that were Amazon's original stories. I did an entire video review of those, so I can link that down below. I will not be going into too much detail of those, but I did read them. So I DNF'd 2 books as well, but both of them I got pretty far into, especially one I DNF'd to like 92% because I'm trying to be better at DNFing a book if I'm just like, I don't care. And so I did that twice this month, which I'm so proud of myself because I never ever DNF. But these also I was reading during reading vlogs and I was just like trying to force myself through them for the reading vlog, and I was like, do I care about the end of this story? No, so let's not even finish. So I do have a couple 5-star reads too. Only 2, but a couple of 4.5, like really close to 5-star books as well. So I had a pretty good reading month. I've done a couple of reading vlogs. I will link those down below as well during this 2.5 week period. So we will go ahead and chat about the books. The first one I listened to was my first DNF, which is Fan Service by Rosie Danan. I have enjoyed one book by Rosie Danan, but I didn't like The Roommate, which was her first book, I think. And then I really liked Do Your Worst, but I just like the setting of that. And then this one, I just didn't care by the end, and so I decided to just stop because it was like gonna be a 3-star read, and I feel like I shouldn't waste my time on books that I feel like are just gonna be 3 or lower. So it would have been a 3 if I finished it, but I just decided DNF because I didn't want to waste my time because I had other things I wanted to read. So this one, he is a werewolf, and he was a werewolf in a TV show. I think this is like Teen Wolf fanfic possibly, and she is a vet, and she had a very traumatizing event. I still don't know. She was like really embarrassed about something because I think she had like dressed up at like a Comic-Con thing and he made fun of her and she heard it, and it's like literally scarred her for life, and she's hated him ever since, and now he has werewolf problems. Like he's turning into a werewolf and he's never done that before, and so he asked for her help, so she's like helping him. He's supposed to be over 40 years old, and I thought I was reading about like a 22-year-old. He was very immature and juvenile, and I just like didn't understand where this plot was going or what else was happening, so I decided to DNF. It wasn't holding my attention, and if I'm listening to an audiobook and I'm like, what's even been happening for the past like 2 hours? Nothing, then I don't need to finish it. So if this wasn't holding my attention, I just didn't really care where the plot was going, so I DNF'd it, unfortunately. Then I did read an e-arc of The Fang Arrangement by Sarah Blue. I gave this one 4. I think I'll settle on 4 stars. I don't know if I want to do 4.5, but this one was after The Marriage Hex, which I loved, and I did like The Marriage Hex better than this one, but this was still a really fun witch vampire romance. So this starts out with them meeting when it was a few years ago, and he instantly like really likes her and she likes him, but then he kind of like hexes her, I guess, or like takes away her memory of ever meeting him, but she still dreams about him, and now there is a vampire killer on the loose, and the vampire killer is also, or like vampire slayer, is also threatening her, and so he hears about it and he gets very angry and he decides he needs to protect her, and then the vampire coven kind of comes in and is like, who is this woman? And so now she's even more danger, and there's just things happening in here. She doesn't understand why she's drawn to him because she's supposed to be like scared of vampires and not even like him because they're just different species and they're not supposed to be together. So it goes from there. She does have to stay at his house for a little bit. She has a little raccoon friend that's super cute, and he has a bat, and I do like it when they have little animals kind of as like their familiars. But this was just a really fun paranormal romance that hit the spot for me while I was reading it, so 4 stars for this one. I do recommend The Marriage Hex over this one. I just really love that one, but if you're in the vampire witch mood, you can pick this up. Then I read my favorite book of the month, which is going to be Good Spirits by B.K. Borison. This one I read in a reading vlog, and it is by far a 5 out of 5 stars. This one is a ghost romance, and I need more of those in my life. They are so good. And a Christmas romance, and now I'm kind of itching for Christmas romances. I did request a few on NetGalley, and I'm like, do I just say screw it and just start my Christmas reading now? Maybe, even though it's October 1st, the day I'm filming this, but I love this so much. This one, he is the ghost of Christmas past, so he shows up and he is instantly confused about what he's being shown, because normally it's like, oh, they see them in a memory being a horrible person, and like the memory that they're shown of her is like not bad. And so he's like, I don't understand why I'm here, but I think we'll figure it out. And so they have to figure out why he is there, and it goes from there. And things came together at the end so well, and I swooned over the fact that he was so head over heels in love with her. Definitely he falls first, and he falls hard, and it was just so good. And then she has these cute Christmas pajamas, and it just like put me in the mood for all things Christmas and holiday. And it's a BK Borson adorable romance. Like, I am obsessed when her heroes are obsessed. My favorites are In the Weeds and Business Casual are my two favorites in that series. I always forget the titles, but love her, love this book. So happy because I didn't love the previous book that she wrote, The First Caller. Is that the one? The one that came out this year as well. I didn't love that, but this one, 5 stars. Then I also read an arc of Rising Rain by Tessa Hale. This is the last book in the Wolves of Crossing Creek series. I give this 5 stars. I love Tessa Hale. I love her Why Choose Romances, Shifter Romances. This one is Ren and her 5 mates, and they're kind of trying to defeat this evil that has been lurking, coming after her, all 3 books, and we finally get the 2 mates that were very resistant to their bond finally giving in. We obviously have an HEA in here. I love this series so much. They all end on really brutal cliffhangers, so we just jump right into the action. I flew through this, loved it. 5 stars. Then I read these 6 novellas. We're gonna fly through these since I already did a full in-depth video on them. The first one is Hot for Slayer. I just took 3 times trying to say that title. Hot for Slayer by Ali Hazelwood. This one is a 4.5 star read, super close to 5. If it was a full-blown book, I would have given it 5 stars. I'm not a super big novella person, but what was so fun about these is that they really encapsulated each of these authors' writing and writing style. I've read from all of them before, and I liked the ones whose authors I love. I also only liked the ones that were longer. They were from 50 pages to 90 pages, and this one was like a 92 page book, and I did not like the short ones. So this one is a vampire and a vampire slayer, and he gets amnesia. One of my other favorite tropes, and so he is the vampire slayer, and she has to basically like take him back to her house and take care of him. She's very conflicted because she's like, this guy's been trying to kill me for hundreds of years, and now I'm helping him. So good. 4.5 stars. I did listen to all but one on audio as well because they are part of the KU Read and Listen feature with Montlake, and I think also if you have Prime, they are available, I'm pretty sure. But then I read Falling by Christina Lauren. This was the least paranormal out of all of them and the most spicy, and it was literally just like they go to a Halloween party and hook up, and that was it. It was very short. I gave us 2 stars. Could have done without reading this one. I also don't love Christina Lauren's books now, though. I haven't read them in a while after they went non-spicy, so it's interesting that this one was like all spice. Then I did read Space Vampire by Ruby Dixon, and this one I think I gave 3.5 stars. I did enjoy this one. I just think the ending was pretty rushed, but you can't really avoid that with a novella. But she is a human that was kind of kept as like a prisoner on this spaceship, and everyone has deserted it because of a monster that escaped, and it's now her and this vampire, this like bred vampire, space vampire in this spaceship, and they fall in love. She is the first human he's fed off of. It was fun. It felt very Ruby Dixon, so I had a fun time reading that one. Then I read Spicy Little Curses. It's the only one that I physically read, and I gave this one 4 stars. I did really like this one. This one is our heroine's in New Orleans. She's a journalist. She's trying to find a story. Stumbles upon this tattoo shop that she's heard about, and the hero is cursed that anybody who falls in love with him dies. And so she's gonna fall in love with him, and it goes from there. A lot of these do tend to be more insta love, which is the nature of novellas, but I really like this one. I gave it 4 stars. It had a lot of action. Like this one and the Alley one had a lot going for the plot, even the Ruby Dixon one, but they also were the longest. So I could have done with a full book of this one. It had JT Geisinger's like humor as well that she has in her Mafia ones that I've read, so definitely felt like one of her books. Then I read Beautiful Nightmare by Katie Robert, and this I even said in my video felt like Monsters Inc., and everybody else I've seen talk about it has said that too. The heroine is training to be a, I forget what it's called, but she's basically feeds off of fear. So they literally like visit people's rooms at night and scare them and feed off their fear. So basically Monsters Inc., where they're like going through closets and scaring people. So this one though, she falls for the guy that she's trying to scare, and instead of feeding off of his fear, she feeds off of his positive emotions, and it was really fun. I would have liked it to be a little longer. I think this one I also gave 3.5 stars. Not too bad. I liked it. Then the last one is My Boyfriends Are All Monsters. This one is definitely the least liked out of all of them that I've seen people talking about. So this one I gave 2 stars as well. I think this is my least favorite out of all of them, but I don't really love Kimberly Lemming's books in general. I think they're very rom-com, and I just don't gel with the humor she uses. So I think I've tried to read 1 or 2 of her books before, and I never got through them. So it's not a surprise I didn't love this one, but I think it's a sign that if you like these novellas, it would be great for you then to try out their longer books if you did like their novella, because like I said, I think all of them really show their writing style and their humor and their plots and characters and their voice. And so if you like this one, go check out more of her books. I don't love her books, so no surprise I didn't like this one. It's just this woman who like falls off the side of a mountain and her boyfriend breaks up with her. She ends up in this small town, and it was kind of confusing because then it was just like all these guys were into her, like these tentacle guys. I'm not opposed to tentacles, but I just didn't jive with this one, and even now I'm like, what even was this plot? I don't know. Okay, but then the next two I really enjoyed. My patron and I did a read along for the Vera Wong books, and so I got the first one off of Audible because they had a buy 2 for 1 credit sale, and this was part of it, and then the second one I got out of my library. So I listened to both of these on audio. Highly recommend going that route because the audio is amazing and it really brings these to life. But I saw Riley talking about these from Riley Marie, and she basically said they're cozy mysteries with Mrs. Kim if she were trying to meddle and solve mysteries, and that is totally true. This is Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers. I gave this one 4 stars. I really like this. So in this one, Vera Wong owns a tea shop, and these are gonna make you so hungry because she goes and talks about food all the time because she's the kind of Asian grandmother that needs to bring food everywhere and feed everybody all the time and also make tea for them. Like I was like, I need to go to an actual like tea shop where they make these like intense tea concoctions that sound amazing. And so she has a dead body in her tea shop, and she is like, what is this? She finds a flash drive on him. She's like, I'm gonna take this, and she literally draws an outline around the body before the police come, and she's like, I'm just so helpful. And so she ends up solving this murder, and she is meddling hardcore, and what she does is with her suspects, she befriends them. So she kind of like collects all these people, very found family, and it's like his brother, someone who was like involved with something he was working on, his wife and her daughter, like, and he had literally told the wife he wanted a divorce the day before he was murdered. Obviously she's a big suspect, and at one point Vera was like, I don't call them suspects, as if I'm wrong then that'll look bad, so I call them persons of interest. So if they aren't the actual murderer, I can just say I was interested in them, and that's why they were a person of interest, not that I thought they were a suspect. And so she is hilarious, and this was so fun. I don't like things that are like overly comedic, and I didn't feel like that was this. This like was so funny and relatable, and I could totally see this happening in real life, and I was like, this is just so endearing, and I loved it. I will say Vera is 51. The covers make her look like she's like 80, and they talk about her like she's like 80. She's only 51, and I was like, you're not actually that old, Vera. But I really enjoyed this one. The murder in this one was surprising. Like I did not know who did it, but then the reason why I don't think I loved the second one as much was because the murder was really depressing. Like it took kind of the cozy factor away because of like what it ended up being, and also it had a really big part to do with social media. So it focused a lot on influencers and Vera having her own platform, and I was worried some people were going to take advantage of her because she was just kind of like thrown in these situations at like influencer parties and stuff. So I really don't like stuff about social media. So this one I did give 4 stars. The beginning I was actually liking better than book 1. So let me look this up. So book 2 is Vera Wong's Guide for Snooping on a Dead Man. So in this one, she ends up kind of stumbling upon a murder because she finds someone, so she gets scammed. And her son's girlfriend works for the police, and so she's at the police station and she's like giving them all her information because she literally got scammed over the phone. And this girl is out there, and she notices she's like kind of being weird outside the police station. She's like, you come with me, and basically makes her tell her what happened. Her friend is missing, and so they end up figuring out he is dead. And so she's like, I'm gonna solve this murder. And so she goes snooping on her son's girlfriend. This one also focuses a lot on her wanting them to get married and calling her her daughter-in-law in Chinese. So she doesn't know she's calling her daughter-in-law. She doesn't want to be around because she wants them to have babies, and she's like, I'm not gonna get in your way. And so this is hilarious. Again, her kind of adopting all these people who were close to the victim that are her suspects. And so we have that kind of here, but the victim was part of like social media. He was like a social media influencer, so we have that big part of the storyline. And then it got dark at the end. So wasn't as cozy, but still 4-star read. I still really enjoyed these, and I definitely recommend them. And it left it open for another book, even though this author has like 3 of her next books planned and they're not Vera Wong books. I'm like, give me Vera Wong, because it sounds like she's going to Paris, and I'm like, Vera Wong solving a murder in Paris? Sign me up. Like, these are so fun, and I could not recommend them enough, especially if you love cozy mysteries. So 4.5 stars and 4 stars for these, and I can't wait for more. I will always recommend these. Then I did get an arc of Coronation by Cleo White. This one is a age gap royalty romance where the heroine is actually a celebrity. She's an actress. I usually don't love celebrity romances, but this was very like closed door, I feel like, not like spice wise. There's tons of spice in here. And I did give it 4.5 stars, and I took off a half star because of the amount of spice. It was a bit excessive, but I feel like it was important in the beginning to show their relationship. So the first 30% is basically them like hooking up over the weekend. The heroine's brought to this kind of like sex party, and the hero is there, and he's the king of the country. He had just divorced his wife, his older brother died, and he now has to take over a country he doesn't want to run. And so he's very grumpy, nobody really likes him, and they hook up. And they really like each other, but he's like, this will never work. She's 25, I'm in my 40s. She's an actress, she's American, I'm a king of this random country, like this isn't gonna work. So he's kind of mean and literally just like leaves her. And apparently there were pictures of them together, and the public had a really positive reception to them. So his people are like, what about a fake dating scenario where we tell everybody you're dating and they like you more because of her? And so he agrees and she agrees, and little does he know she's actually pregnant with his baby. So this is a surprise pregnancy. It's got a lot of tropes going on. They have a lot of chemistry, which is what really drove them together, which is why I said the spice is kind of necessary in the beginning, even though it literally was like 30% of the beginning. But then we kind of do have a lot of spicy scenes at the end that I did not need. So I don't love when a book has like excessive spice that kind of like feels like the plot is getting a little stagnant in those areas because we're not moving forward at all. But I really loved the middle half of this, where he was grappling with going after what he wants, being nice to her, and realizing he can't have what he wants, and it was really good. Kind of gave Prince and Me vibes, and I just love Cleo White. If you like age gap royalty romance, I think you would like this. Then I did read my historical hellions pick for September. That is Honor Splendour by Julie Garwood. This one I did give 3.5 stars. This felt just like good. This felt like a pretty basic historical romance, but I hate saying that because it was one of like the OGs, so like it kind of set the standard for the basic, but it felt basic in what we've read, so it didn't sweep me off my feet like The Wedding or The Secret did. This one, our heroine is with her stepbrother, who's like a half-brother who's obsessed with her, and this big warrior guy is kidnapped, and she feels bad because he's gonna be left in the cold to die so that they can claim he just died of natural causes, no one killed him. She feels bad, so she lets him escape, and like there's the beginning scene, it's so iconic. She like warms his feet with her body because he's about to get frostbite, he can't walk, so she literally lifts up her dress, puts his feet on her stomach so that they warm up, and he was actually already planning on escaping and kidnapping her. That is why he's there. He is getting revenge on her stepbrother because her stepbrother violated his sister. And so he is taking her in revenge, so he does. And they end up falling in love and then entering a marriage of convenience, and the story goes from there. It's very insta-love, and there's not a lot of push and pull between them. Like, they pretty much get together right away with a little bit of external factors happening. We have the kind of quintessential, she arrives at his place and everybody loves her, and she really makes a name for herself there, which kind of infuriates the hero because like she's an outsider. I just feel like we see that a lot, and his family loves her. He has a bunch of brothers, and all this time he's trying to defeat her stepbrother. So that's really the plot. It really was stagnant in the middle. It was just all right, and then the end we get some action, but there was nothing like soap opera-y exciting about the end, which normally happens in these old historical romances. It was very heavy on the consent. In the beginning, she was worried about him violating her, but that had happened to his sister, so he literally was like, I will never, ever take anything against your will from you. If you want something, I will be more than happy to give it to you, but if you say no, 100% heard. So that was very great considering this was published in the 80s. So we had a lot of spice in here. I was very surprised by all the spice in here. We had lots and lots of spice, and again, I don't love that. I wish there was a little less. So because it was good, solid, like there wasn't anything bad about it. It was just like, been there, done that. I need a little bit extra oomph in this story to really set it apart from other ones. So 3.5 for this one. Still really enjoyed it. And the last one is so sad for me to say is a DNF. And that is Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood. This one I was very excited for. I read Rewitched. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think I rounded it up to 4. It was fun, entertaining. This one, the pacing was just off for me. When I don't really know how to feel about a book, I'll go to Goodreads and look at it, and someone had mentioned the difference between this and other cozies like The Spell Shop and the Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I love those two, and this one kind of has the same vibes, the same premise. The pacing and the found family were just so not there for this one for me. The heroine, the premise is that she is taking in this witch who is young, who can't really handle her magic, and she's training her. That takes like 2 hours of the audio to get to. So that was about like 15-20% of just setup, and then the hero doesn't come into like 45% into this book, and I was just like, we're just going along. I was on a walk at one point, so I listened to an hour and a half of the audio because I listened at 3 times speed, so it was about 30-minute walk, and I was like, what can I even say has happened in the entirety of my walk? They just like talked and went one place, and so it's just like, it was so slow, and there weren't really a lot of stakes, and there wasn't really a lot of plot. The pacing was just so off for me of when characters were introduced and then when things were happening, and I'm like, what is even happening in this book? Like, not a lot. The heroine's on a journey of self-discovery and trying to like not let other people really dictate who she is and what she does, but other than that, I was just not hooked. I was not loving these characters. I was just listening along just to finish, which was what I was doing with fan service, and I was like, I'm just gonna stop. So this one I literally got to 92%. I had an hour left, and I was just like, I don't need to finish. Like, I have so many other books I want to read. This will be a 3-star. It's not a 2. It's not like bad, but I'm like, I'm trying not to focus on the 3-star reads and continuing and finishing them, so I'm really gonna try to move forward. Try to DNF books that I feel just are a 3-star read. Like, the ending's not gonna save it. I'm already like, meh. The story is a story. It's happening. And that's really what this felt like. I was like, it's just happening. So 3 stars, but really DNF. Really sad it's a DNF because it just has all the cozy vibes that I'm wanting right now. It just didn't deliver. And those are the books that I read in the month of September. Let me know if you read any of these and what your thoughts were. I would love to hear. If you made it this far, leave me a snowflake in the comments for good spirits, because that was my favorite book and I'm so ready for Christmas. So I know it's early, but I really want it. So that is all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.